Blog Talk Radio.
The world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing. It's time to take action. It's time for the Critical Mass Show.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Good evening, guys. How are you all? This is the Critical Mass Show on Critical Mass Radio. Before I continue, thank you to Fettel with the A Peace of Mind show. Very, very deep, thought-provoking, as always. Well put together. Thank you for putting the time in there, mate. And I look forward to speaking to you very soon. Phil, thank you very much for telling me there, letting me know. Now we'll go through loud and clear. I want to say hello to Wendy from lightwavesradio.com. Please do visit their site with Max Crow because they are doing some fantastic work. Another young station, but of the same mind as we are, doing fantastic stuff. Okay, so it amazes me that everybody knows I do my show on one day from 9 to 11, and then I start getting Skype messages of people that I've not heard from for a long time. Unbelievable. Right. On a serious note, I want to say thank you to Brian Clare, last week's more than a guest, I suppose. The hardest show probably that anybody's had to listen to, and the hardest show that I've had to do. Still sort of with me, and we're going to be working with Brian in the future because the guy needs help with what he's doing. I've never heard anybody speaking that way. I've never heard of accounts of abuse in that way. And this station is about coming together, being proactive and getting the news out and helping campaigns. And the guy needs help with everything that he's doing. And we are the help. We're all proactive here. I've just seen Rob Freeman, hi, on the station, proactive chat. We're all proactive. Hi to Lisa. And you know, it's our time now. We are not here by mistake, guys. We are here because we have been brought together at this time to bring about change. We have so much power in us all individually and collectively. We can move mountains. I truly believe that. So, well done to you all, guys, and hope you're going to enjoy the show. We do have a guest tonight, and that is the lovely Ann Carey, who basically puts it as, she said, yeah, do you know what, let me just tell it how it is. And I love that. That's great. So Ann will be on along in 10 minutes, but I'm really excited because, well, I'll tell you what, listen to this.
Chemtrails, child, animal and planet abuse, geoengineering, alternative energy, disclosure, prison planets, Agenda 21, drones, biometrics. This is CMR, Critical Mass Radio, leading the way to stopping the control with proactive hosts, shows and solutions, and informative groundbreaking guests. Critical Mass Radio, the People's Station. Now, it's our turn.
Now that is a jingle. That is a jingle. I love that. I love that. Thank you to Lisa for Lisa's input. We were working on that one yesterday. We basically had that one put through this morning, and that's for everyone at the station. But that is where we are coming from. Love that kind of thing. Right, guys. What I want to do first is play a little song, and then we're going to speak to Ann. Right, guys. I think we're going to go straight to try and get Ann on. And if one of you guys could put the link in the chat box, please, for Pete, if you don't mind. He's having a bit of trouble trying to get on. I would appreciate that greatly, muchly. Let's try and get Ann on here now. Just 1 second. You know I like to do this live, guys. Here we go. Any second now. Talk you through the silence.
Hello.
Hello, Ann.
Hiya, Paul. How you doing?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
I know that you are very busy, so I appreciate your time this evening, as always, because you're juggling a lot of balls, spinning a lot of plates, and doing great work. And we got through the Olympics, didn't we, hon?
We did indeed, and thankfully there was no big explosions, and but like I've said before, I do think that they've manipulated something that's in another form, which is basically, like I said, the whole virus thing. Mm-hmm. So that's on another level altogether, but so hopefully we'll be strong enough to actually fight these viruses that they make and overcome them, I hope.
As we've said many times before, people are going to be left behind, unfortunately, no matter what happens, because they're just not prepared to listen, or they're just not awake. It's not their time to wake up for whatever reason. Chemtrails, I want to talk about, Anne, because we've been working very hard with the homeless, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, it was a matter of... the Homies, fantastic band, very kindly offered to let one of their songs be put out there for the chemtrail activism, so that we could try and raise funds to keep the commercial on the telly, which was a fantastic idea. And so I think we started in June, and we said, right, well, we'll give it a month, and we'll try. We only needed to get 2,500 people to download the song, which would then put it up there in the mainstream charts, and that seemed to be an absolutely brilliant idea, as you know. Yep, so obviously yourselves, we've done a lot of work with it, and I was promoting it constantly on Facebook, as you know. Obviously July came, we didn't get the numbers we needed, so we extended it to the August, and we didn't get the numbers, and we extended it to the September, and then I think that because there was about 10,000 people who were actually invited to the event, and there was basically 900 plus who actually agreed to download on the day. So I think we were all full of anticipation on the actual day, when it was all due to be downloaded, and we were all completely disappointed, weren't we, with the result?
We were very disappointed, and the thing is, I know the work that you've been putting in, and I know the work that Grov, the homeless, have been putting in, and people at the station. Now, it's hard for me because Grov is as you know, he's just a genuine top class bloke, and he doesn't want anything, as you don't want anything. You just want to get this out there to help people realise what these chemtrails are about. Now, what I'm leading on to, you know what I'm leading on to here, don't you? So, I'm talking about Facebook because I hate, and I don't like to use that word, but I'm going to use it with Facebook. It's an awful, awful thing.
I think, obviously the disappointment of putting all that, putting the time in and everything, and obviously and disappointment of everybody else involved. So when the event actually flopped, I was absolutely gutted. Now, I didn't go over the top in my condemnation of people. There were other people who actually came onto the event page. I sort of extended it for a couple of days just so that people could see what was going on. I thought I was quite, I was really angry and I was upset, but what I actually said was, out of 900 people, we've got 42 downloads, and all I can say is that people should be ashamed of themselves. Now, I do realise that certain people have obviously valid reasons why they couldn't download on the day. I wasn't meaning every single person, but I think out of 900 people, when 42 people actually involved themselves, I was in reason to say, it's shameful that this whole movement has become this because, you can put so much work in and it just doesn't happen. And as far as I was concerned, I was done with Facebook activism altogether. Now, that in itself produced the biggest onslaught of insults that I've ever seen. I mean, I was just gobsmacked. I had people coming on the event page calling me names, saying I put people off, banging on about it all the time, and I got called names like a Veruca Salt. I mean, I don't even know what a Veruca Salt is. I know what a Veruca is, but I don't know what a Veruca Salt is. Anyway, and other people, and they were all joining in with the bashing, like, you put people off, you know, you're this, you're always on it, and it was just unbelievable. Now, some stupid guy even said, let's start a page for all people who don't like this Ann Carey. And at that point, I realised how pathetic this whole thing had become. Yeah. Now, I've thought about it now. But obviously, I'm going to take a different route. Okay. I've obviously realised that what I've actually realised is that the political culture of social networking sites are just not empowering at all. They're basically there to entrap individual creativity and campaign building because, many people believe that just by joining a Facebook group, that means that they're committed to a cause. Yeah. But that is not going to change anything. I think the whole social network thing has backfired as a substitute for change because, the actual talk itself becomes more important than the action of change. Yeah. And I think it distorts people's understanding of action. I think it creates a sort a rejection, if you like, of interaction. And it's terrible. I mean, the problems that people like myself, who are activists, face in the promotion of events, like when you're trying to spread your message, through links and posts. I mean, the fact that I had a comment from someone that said, "Oh, you're always banging on about it, getting on everybody's nerves." Well, I think the point is that you need to be part of a collective. If you're going to do anything that's an active event on a social networking site, you need to be part of a collective group. And that group would then go about, sharing that information. So it's not just, one or two or three maybe people who are sharing it. It's seen as a group, active project. And unless that happens, it's so difficult because there's so many groups out there and there's so many people and there's so much information and it all just gets lost. It all gets lost and before you know it, it's becoming, the politics of the self because people are putting your own individuality in place of what the cause is all about.
Right. Just on that, because I don't do Facebook full stop. No, just a few comments that are floating around here. Your comments like, well, it's not Facebook, it's people, which basically is what we've just said over the last 10 minutes, and also that it can be used as a tool for sort of spreading news or even collecting news, because there's headlines floating around here, there, and everywhere. But the point is, I think where you nailed it, Anne, is it's not an activist tool. It's wrong to use it as an activist tool. It doesn't work, and it does breed armchair activists.
Exactly, and I'm not knocking those people on Facebook because I know there's a lot of really great people on Facebook, right, and they are real true activists. And not only have they supported everything that I've done, but these are the same people who will create a leaflet or a poster, and they will go out in the neighbourhood and they will share the information, but they don't broadcast it on the social networking sites. They just go and do it. Now, the thing is, it's true. I think personally that Facebook, it's great. It's a great tool because you can reach people, in other parts of the world and you can share information, but it is not the way forward as far as activism goes. Because, and I'm not just saying this on this one event, obviously not, you know. You spend a couple of, 18 months and organising different events, and you sort of get a feel for what works and what doesn't. The chemtrail commercial worked perfectly because it was a group effort. Okay, all right, I came up with the idea, but the actual commercial itself was a group effort. I made sure that there was people involved. Everyone was discussing between themselves what should be on it, what shouldn't be on it, what should be said, and everything. So it was a collective, so it worked. Now, when you are a person on Facebook and you are trying to share information or get an event, promote an event, you're completely lost in it all because, it's like, especially when that woman said, oh, you're always banging on about it. I immediately thought to myself, well, if there was a group of us, maybe 20 people who were sharing this, people wouldn't react like that because they would see it as a group event. They would see it as a collective. They wouldn't see it as, oh, it's that bloody Ann Carey again. She gets on my nerves.
I got an email, and it said, clever. You've managed to do it again with a voice that could penetrate something I can't remember now. But you've manipulated a situation to make more money out of it than anybody knows. And it went on to basically say that I'd made a few thousand out of the homeless record. I wish that was the case, and because this is the sort of thing that people do, and I don't even know if they're trolls. I just think that it's getting me mad because I know you were getting the same thing. It's backwards thinking.
Yeah. I think there's different groups and types of people, as you well know, on Facebook, okay? You've got just nasty people who just think the worst of everyone and accuse everyone of doing all sorts because that's what they would do in that situation, yeah? That's why they do it. And then you've got another group of people who are, they're actually getting paid to infiltrate and, create problems for people who are real activists. And then you've got another group of people who just, I don't know, for some reason, if they don't think of it or if they don't come up with the idea, they completely flatly refuse to get involved, which is crazy because, it's like, this is about the cause. Everything that you do is about the cause. And I've just found now that it's all become so individualised, and you're putting yourself out there as a platform, and it just leads to problems. I've had people comment today saying, well, what sort of person are you then if you're just going to leave Facebook just because you've had a few problems and a few, but what they don't realise, it's not about, I'm not leaving the cause because I've given up. Absolutely bloody no way. These dickheads are not going to make me give up. Yeah?
Yeah.
Honestly, I've just realised that I don't need to be wasting my energies putting it into the wrong platform.
Well said.
I can make a difference, right? I have made a difference, but I could make an even bigger difference. But if I'm going to use the wrong platform to do that, then I am just going to drain my own energies and I'm not going to get anywhere. And I've come to that position in my activism now. So, all you people out there go, oh yeah, go on, Anne, piss off, go on, yeah, go on. They're idiots because they're all going to spend their time arsing around on Facebook, sharing messages and doing absolutely sod all to change anything.
Well, see, the thing is, what people don't realise with this activism, with people, as you're saying there, they're saying, oh, you're going now, this, that, the other. People don't realise the intensity as to the personal sort of abuse that you're dealing with and what it takes out of you and what you have to give in order to sort that out, because it escalates into other areas as well. It's very dangerous. People don't realise that. People just think you're getting a few emails here and there, but it spreads in all areas, doesn't it, of everything you're doing, and even onto other campaigns that you're associated with. And that's the problem, where in the end you're not actually doing any work, any activism or helping anyone. You're just dealing with nasty pasties all over the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it's I must say I've had a rough life, and I'm quite a strong character. I mean, I've been through a lot, and it hasn't bloody floored me. And that's why I'm able to fail. Some people have said to me, you know, I don't know how you've even put up with it all, because I've had so much stick off people over the time that I've been on Facebook. And also on YouTube, we all know you get the haters. But, you know, I'm the sort of person I'd go, well, actually, you know, you're not gonna make me change who I am just because you don't like me. But like you say, if it's counterproductive to what you're doing, yeah, if it's not helping the cause, because, like you said, you're spending all your time just basically, you know, picking yourself up off the floor after people have just, you know, laid into you, or, you know, you're spending too much time defending yourself and getting into silly arguments with these groups of people. And I tell you what, these people on Facebook, right, the ones who I believe are getting paid, they're very, very crafty, because what they do is they'll just wait for the opportunity where you will have, you know, you'll have lost the bloody, not lost the will to live, but, you know, you've lost hope in the fact that Facebook's going to help change anything. And you know, you might like make a few insultive comments, and they're all been waiting in the background, because before you know it, you know, it doesn't matter that you spent 4 months constantly trying to present or promote a certain event. You know, you now become, you know, someone who's insulted people. That gives them the right to backstab you to the end.
Well, Anne, I believe that your son was 19, wasn't he, last week?
Yeah, on the day, yeah.
And you were still, when you wanted to be dealing with that, you obviously your son's 19th birthday, and you wanted to be with him. You were still getting it from all angles, just for trying to help. Yeah,
it was really quite. I mean, I just felt really sad, because not because they made me feel so bad, but I thought, you know, what sort of people are you out there?
Yeah.
You know, when you can actually be, you know, all right, you know, you could say, all right, you've got no right to I said everyone should be ashamed, and some people said you've got no right to say we should be ashamed. Well, fair enough, that's their opinion. But when they come back and they're back and back and they keep calling your names and going, you're nothing but this, you're worthless, you're this, you're scum, you're that. You know, it's so bloody uncalled for, and it's so sad. It's shame on them, absolutely shame on them. And I do think that, you know, these people, and they go out there and they make out that they're all there, you know, trying to change the world. These sort of people want to change themselves before they think about changing the world.
We need to look at these people, look outwardly instead of inwardly, and aggressive to everyone else. Well said. Okay, so what as we're talking here, you know, I'm always open-minded as you are. Facebook, I will never I just don't see the point in it myself. I've never benefited from it. It's always been the opposite. Now, yes, it's a tool. I think it's a nice sort of social tool to keep in touch. I can understand that. So then I correct myself and say, yeah, okay, I've benefited from it slightly. But we are grown up here, and we're on a different level. As in, we're trying to be activists and make change now. You were saying about these people out there, and I agree that people out there paid to cause disruption, but what's upsetting to me is there's so many people who claim to be awake, who are not, basically.
Yeah. Well, this is the whole point about it, isn't it? Is that, you know, whilst we think that, you know, you think about how many groups there are out there. I mean, it's so fragmented. There's groups popping up left, right, and centre, you know, and all these people who are all sharing this information and, you know, supposedly against what's going on, but they can't actually see what they're actually doing by becoming so entrenched in Facebook, in sharing messages and, you know, and all the rest of it. They don't realise it's like a substitute for real action, because, you know, online talk becomes more important than the action of change, basically. And then when you try to say this to people and say, you know, okay, you know, we've all got this, that, and the other to share, but can we try and do this? Can we try and do that? Should we try, you know, make an event, do something where, all right, we all know what's going on, but we're not going to change it all by sitting on our arses talking on Facebook, are we? So the idea is to make as many people out there aware of what's going on as possible, right? That's the idea, because, you know, until we get to that point where people realise what's going on, then it will just be a load of people talking on a social network site. How's that ever going to change the world?
I got involved with a conversation, and I think I've mentioned this before, and people, when we all go through that stage where we get very down, we don't see the point, we can't see change, we just have a low, and we all go through that, all aware, awake people go through that. And I tried to intervene in this conversation. I said, so what is it you guys are doing outside Facebook? And no one, and there was about 20 other people in this conversation, not one person would answer to me. And I kept butting in and saying, so what is it you're doing? And basically, they wouldn't answer me because all they do is go on Facebook every day. And they want change, and they go on Facebook every day. Yeah, and that's where it's wrong.
I used to have a laugh with a friend of mine because, like, you know, if you started a conversation about something, and then she used to say to me in private message, watch everybody Scarpa, and she'd say, I know, let's all meet up and have a day where we give out leaflets. Let's have an information day. Who's with me? And you can guarantee everybody just scarpered, you know, because the idea of actually putting yourself out there to strangers in the street or whoever, right? To some people, it's just, you know, they couldn't deal with it, they couldn't handle it because, you know, to them it's an alien thing to do. What they don't realise is that's the only way forward. If everybody on Facebook who knows about chemtrails was to make it one day to go out and all inform everybody, giving out leaflets or whatever, we could actually make a change in the world, but that will never happen.
It's, you know, sometimes I think if 2,000 people stood in the square and all pointed at the sky for half an hour, taking pictures, that would send out a message to all passers-by. Well, not to all passers-by, to a lot of people, saying, "Did you see all them people, you know, in a square there in Leicester or Bristol, Manchester, wherever?" And it was, you know, in Hastings, they were all looking up and taking pictures. What was it? And that could do it. But like you say, all it has to do is rain, and nobody turns up anyway.
This is the point. It's unbelievable. It really is, because, you know, you can. I've organised. I said, right, let's do something positive, right? Let's have a demonstration, right? And I said, we'll have a demonstration. We'll go to London, and, you know, I'll put this event on the hundreds of people. Oh yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. I said, I won't say where it's going to be till a few days before the event for obvious reasons, And I said, what I'll do is, I'll put down a couple of days before, well, a week before maybe, I think it was, where the actual event was going to be held, and I put the message on the event page, and I said, you know, if you're still up for it, please get back and say yes. And do you know how many out of, I think it was 300 plus people, there was less than a handful that actually was going to come.
Say about 12, yeah.
No, it was actually less than that. I think about 4 people contacted me and said, yeah, I'm still up for it. This was going to be a mass demonstration. Mass demonstration. Now, you know, what's really sad about it all as well is, you know, you've got your alternative media as well, Now, they're obviously supposed to be some sort of outlet for what's going on, and people rely on all that. And even that is now has been so infiltrated, you know, that you can't even rely on that. And I'll give you, for instance, now this Pernilla Hagberg lady, the Swedish woman who's come out against chemtrails in Sweden,
Okay.
Now, it's been reported about her in the alternative media. I think it's absolutely fantastic that anybody comes out and says something like that, you know? I mean, you've got to support them and give them as much support as you can. But what really got to me was the fact that you've got alternative media, and they're actually reporting it in such a way that they're claiming that I'm not saying all of them, but some of them are saying that the Green Party leader has spoken out in Parliament about this. Now, that is so bloody misleading, it's unbelievable, because that woman is not the Green Party leader. She is a Green Party member of Parliament in a small town, actually one of the smallest town in Sweden, but that's got nothing to do with it. But anyway, she basically, there was a newspaper in where she comes from, where there's a population of about 4,000 people, and it had a picture of chemtrails, and it had a caption, what do people think this is? And she basically come forward with the whole idea about the chemtrails. But for these alternative media networks to actually be reporting that as the Green Party leader speaks out in Parliament against chemtrails is just so that would be the equivalent, of my stupid cow Tory MP who lives here in Hastings, getting a story in the local paper and it being reported that the Conservative Party leader in Parliament has spoken out against chemtrails. It's totally out of order and misleading, because the whole point about it is if people think that a party leader has spoken out about it in Parliament, they're going to think to themselves, well, that's great, there's nothing we need to do, because, if we've got party leaders speaking out in Parliament, then we don't need to go out and campaign about it. But, the fact that it's just, I'm not saying just because it's a breakthrough even so, but because it's a Green Party MP who's actually writing in a newspaper, then if they would have reported that, then other people might have got behind her and give her support, and it could, maybe go somewhere. But to actually report it as being the Green Party leader speaks out in Parliament, I just found, what is it? Is it on purpose, or are they just accidentally reporting it wrong, or someone reported it wrong and they all follow suit? I really don't know. I suppose I've got to the stage where I'm just, I'm dubious of everybody and everything.
It does get you like that. I just want to say, with regards to the Home League, that I think now, because they are an amazing band, and I picked up on that anyway, just listening to Grov, and if none of this is any reflection on the Home League, and I know Grov and the guys know that, it's just more reflection on the people that we suggested that they were going to be part of. We only needed 2,500, and that wasn't going to guarantee us we get in the charts because of the powers that want to be. But what I'm saying is that band will go from strength to strength, because they've got songs coming out left, right, and centre. I know they're working very hard on that. So it's just this could be with anything. I mean, there's a lady called Izzy that's all over the internet who was offering her song for nothing just to get it out there, and I think like 12 people bought that. So. It's a funny thing. When we're moving forward, because we're constantly looking for solutions. I mean, I feel that Facebook is not the tool it used to be. I mean, everything's adverts now. It's basically the TV now. I think. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I think way back when it, back in 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
That was when it probably, was starting to become an important tool for campaigns and activism then. But obviously now it's all about, it's not, as we said, it's not. But like you say about the homeless, things like this happen. They might knock you back for a little while, but I tell you what, it makes you come back bloody stronger. It really does, and I've got no doubt at all that the homeless will come back fighting and be a lot stronger and make a hell of a big difference in this world. Yeah, I've already, I've decided that, the way forward would probably be better in websites and maybe a magazine that we could maybe get out there free once a month.
Well,
things like that, So really, they've done us a favour, because now they've given us an idea how to actually proceed and make the real difference instead of wasting our time on stupid twats. Excuse the language.
Well, it's past 9 o'clock when you find right. Just on that, you're talking about magazines. Spare me 1 second. I just want to mention Grov's book, We Are Waking Up, from Grov Molosky. You can buy this now. Please do go out there. It's only a tenner for a cracking book. So if you'd like to get that, it's called We Are Waking Up, and it's by Grov Molosky. The details are there. If you look to the top of the site, you'll see there's a link there for Grov's book also, so you can just link to that and set yourself up very easily. We are looking at getting a magazine sort of newsletter put together in the coming months. We are working on that through critical mass, and it's something that needs to be done. As you said, I feel that it's the way forward. So yeah, we'll keep through that one, because I know that obviously you're saying that it'd be something that you'd be into in a big way.
Absolutely, yeah, I'd definitely like to be a part of that, definitely.
with regards to your son, I mean, son influenced by the work that you do as well.
Well, yeah, he is, obviously, but I think when he knows that I'm getting sort of bullied a lot, if you like, he doesn't like it at all, he's sort of saying, why are you doing this, why are you putting yourself out there and letting people do this to you, just walk away from it. So I can understand from his point of view, he doesn't like to see me getting insults and all the rest of it, but I do, he realises, he just says, I'm glad that there's people like you in the world, because you are trying to make a change for the better. So, as long as my boys are proud of me, I've got 2 sons, they're both proud of me, that's all that matters, the rest can kiss it.
Yeah, basically. So, all right, so you're suggesting, I was just going to say, which you think is the best way forward now. I think an independent magazine, as you say, short newsletter is a fantastic way. I do agree with that, because people on this station always suggest that we're about getting the news out to the people, and if people want to take it, then that's up to them. But and I like to think that your efforts and everybody else's efforts is bringing people that are disconnected around the world together. I thought that's what Facebook would have done, to be honest.
Yeah, well, maybe not. But at the end of the day, there's another way forward as well. There's the PSTV channel, Paradigm Shift Television. If it could be, if some people could get together and maybe make a program that could concentrate on chemtrails, in a decent format, there's no reason why they wouldn't play it, I'm sure.
We've got a lady called Alex Longman who was on the Prisoner Show on Thursday with George, and an associate of hers, and basically, have you come across Alex?
I'm afraid we fell out. We don't speak.
Do not speak, right? Okay. I was going to say, well, this lady's doing work as well on this, and we're encouraging many people to come to us with all kinds of sort of, views and options to move forward with the chemtrails, as in many different subjects. So, yeah, this is the thing, you see, even in the truth movement, we all don't see eye to eye, do we?
Well, no, I mean, there's been a few people that have sort of, got involved with chemtrails, and well, basically it was a group decision, because I don't know whether you know Alex is the voice on the chemtrail commercial.
I didn't know that. Sorry, no.
Yeah, and well, basically what happened was when we decided what we wanted to say, she obviously agreed to say it. She didn't want to use the word chemtrails on the commercial. A lot of people, weren't having that. It caused a big ruck, and we all fell out over it. So there you go.
All right. Okay, that's a new one of me. Right. So, you with the Hastings chemtrails, I mean, I know you're still doing great work with that. I mean, I know you've seen an improvement with what the work you're doing there and the recognition as well. Would you say, in your honest opinion now, that the chemtrail spraying has increased or has plateaued in the years you've been working?
I think this year, especially, it's been full on, hasn't it? This year, it's been, it's so blatant now that sometimes I go out, I film the sky, and I could literally cry, because I cannot understand for the life of me how people can just be walking around and not looking up, noticing it. It's as if now they've managed, by putting it on television adverts, commercials, whatever, right? Billboards, they've made it so, that it's so, such a normal thing that people don't bat an eyelid. And it's like, you can see what they're doing, but you try and point it out to people, and they just, a lot of people can't see it. I think really it's a matter of everybody has to get on and get out there and tell people, just speak to people in the street, just put yourself right out there, just stop in the middle of the street, look up and point up and say, can you see that, love? See that there? And I've done it many a time, and the people go, oh yeah, what's that? And then you can talk to them about it. That's the only way forward. But not sitting on your behinds, typing away, sharing messages, but actually going out and just talking at every single opportunity that you have. That's what we all have to do. If we all pledge to do that, we might make a difference in the world.
Well said. I'm just getting pictures sent to me now by a lady called Pippa, who's associated with the station. And yeah, these it's like you said, they may as well be spraying the words, yeah, and we know you know what we're doing, but we're going to carry on anyway. It's so blatant, and now there's no structure to it. It's just out and out. It's warfare. They're just spraying from left, right, and centre. And even at night now, we're seeing it more and more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nights are. I mean, you get up in the morning now, and it's just a big grey blanket, isn't it?
It is. It's just a blanket, and you know what's happening. I mean, last week, I think the whole of England, Britain. Well, let's go with England. That Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was just flooded, basically, weren't we?
I think, it's getting to the stage, I know a lot of people have said this, they can feel the energy draining from them on a daily level.
Mm-hmm.
It's soaking, it's draining the energy from people. And if you're someone who's got, I've got an autoimmune disease, so, sometimes you can feel the difference between a day that, that is clear and the days when they're just constantly spraying. And there's a lot of people who are suffering, and they're all just putting it down to, this and that. But it's not. If we're getting constantly bombarded with chemicals, then we are all going to suffer sooner or later, and our children are going to be suffering. And if we can't get off our arses and stop, whatever it is we all argue about on Facebook or wherever we all argue about on a personal level, forget about it. Who cares about whether you like someone or not, right? We're dealing with mass poisoning, yeah? And we're all arguing about whether some stupid cow likes you or who gives a shit? Get out there, yeah, and do something yourself. Get your leaflets, go out and do stuff, yeah? That's the only way we're going to make people... and we are getting to the stage now, I do believe, where it is coming to its... this has been going on for many, many years, It's not like it's just started the last couple of years. It's been going on for bloody years. And, the fact that the whole thing about the whole, the nature and suffering of the nature and the planet and everything, you can't just sit around complaining for very much longer.
Yeah, the times when you and I were texting each other a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just getting this now from Pippa saying about that apparently Hull is just deep in chemtrails at the moment. Now, what I've noticed with chemtrail spraying is, unless it's just a different way that they're doing it, and this goes out to everybody listening as well, it seems to be a lot lower in the sky, as in they seem to be on us, a lot bigger, a lot thicker, but a lot lower as well, where it seems to be a lot higher up. Do you see what I'm saying there? I'm explaining that right? Yeah,
exactly, because their whole excuse for it was, it's got to be at certain altitudes, over 30,000 feet, and all that shite, is, it's making a mockery of all that. Because, like you say now, it is so low down. Where I live is kind of on a hill, and when I look down, I can see the chemtrails above people's houses.
Yeah.
And watch it fall, the mist. People are filming the mist falling down. Yeah, I've filmed it outside in my backyard where you can hear this noise like, but it's not rain. There's no rain there, but you can actually see that these particles falling from the sky. So we are getting bladdered. We really are getting bladdered, and honestly, I can't understand. What will it take for people to actually realise what's going on? When are they going to actually go, what the hell is that, when it's actually landed on their head or something? It's just, wake up. Just wake up, people, to what's going on.
It's so frustrating. I can hear it in your voice, and I know what you're going through every day. There's a chap that he's convinced that I watch his videos, and he's a decent chap, and he was started off on chemtrails. He's suggesting now, I just want to put this one to you because I can't see it, I can't get it at all. He's suggesting that it's alien invaders with sort of spaceships, if you like, that are spraying all over the world, and it's got nothing to do with planes, that we're actually being attacked by another species.
Well, let's put it this way, yeah. What better way for these bastards in control, right, whoever is doing this, right, what better way but than to put out there so many different theories about who's doing it, so that even when you do finally realise that it's happening, then we can all argue about who's doing it. Mm-hmm. I'd say to that, I don't give a shit who's responsible for doing it. I just want them to stop, right? And I don't think, arguing amongst ourselves about who's doing it. I think what we should be doing is waking people up to the fact that it's happening, right? Then we can all find out afterwards who's doing it, can't we?
Well said, and that's where the arguing's coming in. People saying who, what. You know, let's just realise it first. But again, I think there's enough people awake, aware, and when I say awake, the awakened people are not fully awake. You know that. We are learning every single day, and we're open-minded enough to accept new possibilities. But what I'm saying there is, there's going to come a time where people are being left behind. They're going to have to be, because Alex from the Razor's Head show says it every week. You know, we are looking down at our iPads, iPhones, game consoles, and that's why we don't see what's going on above us.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and unless you actually point out to people, I know you get a lot of people who, well, I'll quote Facebook again, I don't know why, but a lot of people on Facebook will say things like, oh, you know, I've tried talking to family and they won't have it, and that's because they know you personally, and, you know, for them, they're either not going to, they don't want to know, which is fair enough, but I always say that once something's been spoken, it can't be unsaid. So once you put that thought in their head, they're always going to be like, what is it, what is going on? I've even spoke to people months and months previously and told them about it. Like, nah, what are you talking about? And it's just contrails, it's nothing, honestly. I think you're being a bit paranoid, you know. And I've spoken to them a couple of months later and they've had this worried look on their face and they've said, well, actually, you know what, I do think something weird about this. And then they'll go on to tell you about this day where it was all crisscrosses and you couldn't believe it. So, you know, I know people think telling other people sometimes is a waste of time. It never is. Because once you've put that thought into people's heads, that thought is going to be there, and they are then aware. And even if they say, oh, you know, it's just normal contrast, they are going to start, something's turned on in that brain of theirs, yeah, and they are going to think to themselves, well, hang on a minute, how come one day there's loads and loads of planes, and yet other days there's none? You know, why is the flight path supposed to be a flight path of planes? How come that it's only on certain days? You know, things like that, they'll come to them. People have got to awaken themselves to asking themselves questions.
Do you know what I think? That's helping people understand the difference here. And this is what I believe will happen with the powers that want to be. They will shoot themselves in the foot. England, Britain is a dumping ground. We know that, and you know, at many other countries. But it seems that England is almost a test centre, really. And I'm hearing people saying, you know, I've been in Spain, I've been in Greece, I've been in Italy, and the sky, it was not a cloud in the sky, and I come back, and that's when they're starting to notice that they're looking up, and they're not just noticing now that it's raining, it's dull. They're saying it's always raining and it's dull here.
And you're always out of energy. And I tell you what, my son is in Taiwan and he's teaching out there. And he came home for the summer, and he said while he was out in Taiwan, he was fit. He was he was riding his bike everywhere to work and backwards and forwards and whatnot. You know, going to the gym, doing this, that, and the other. And when he came back here, all he wanted to do was sleep. The whole time he was here, he said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't stop sleeping. I'm so tired. I've got no energy. He was lethargic, and he was convinced that, you know, this was down to what's going on in this country, because why would he suddenly all of a sudden become very tired and lethargic when he's been as fit as a fiddle for the past year, you know? Yeah, definitely it's affecting a lot of people, not just physically, mentally as well, you know?
It's, well, you know, this, what was it, the seasonal adjusted disease, have I got that right, SAD, where people, if they don't get enough sunlight, they start becoming a bit gloomy.
Yeah.
You know, so you can understand that. Right, and I tell you what, for you now, what's your next step, Hannah? Are you going to carry on putting your foot down as you always do?
Oh, God, yeah, I'm never going to stop. I mean, there's no way, nobody's going to stop me. They'll have to put me in my grave first. Oh. Right? Because I am, you know, I'm committed to making the changes in the world. And, you know, it hasn't just been for me about chemtrails. You know, I've spent the past 10 years of my life helping others and raising funds for this, that and the other, and doing the best I can to be a decent human being, because I think that's what we all should be. And, you know, my way forward now is obviously, you know, there's other people going to be involved. We're going to come up with other ways. a means of getting the word out. We'll probably be using, more artistic ways, maybe, websites, whatever. At least it will be a collective. Maybe people will take it on board more because they'll see that as a collective of people rather than a person, just me, who's trying to make the difference in the world. And so I think really, sometimes bad things happen for the right reasons and they make you actually go on and do better things. So I do believe that's what's happened in this case.
Well, I tell you what, Anne, you've got the backing of everyone because we're all proactive here and we all love what you're doing. We love your energy. You're welcome here 7 days a week. You know that. Anything that you need from us, it's there. Just keep it up. Don't let these nasty pasties get to you. I know it's hard, but you keep it up, sweet, and we'll speak to you very, very soon. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks for having me on again then, Paul.
No worries, darling. Can you end the call at your side there for me, Anne, please?
Okay. Thank you, and thanks for everyone for listening.
Take care, Anne.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That was Anne. I could say because she's fantastic, isn't she? She embraces everything that I think proactive people stand for. You know what? I keep saying this because we don't all agree, but the fact of the matter is people like us and Anne are putting our foot down because we believe in something and we are following that belief. People don't do that anymore, do they? So we are all to be commended, as Anne should be, and the homeless, because I know, Grov, a lot of you have met the guy and his lovely wife Amanda, and you know what? I am meeting more salt of the earth people now than I ever did before in the 35 years before I woke up. So, hats off to you guys. So I'm going to play another. Do you know what? Can I do it again? I'm going to do it again.
Chemtrails, child, animal and planet abuse, geoengineering, alternative energy, disclosure, prison planets, Agenda 21, drones, biometrics. This is CMR, Critical Mass Radio, leading the way to stopping the control with proactive hosts, shows and solutions, and informative groundbreaking guests. Critical Mass Radio, the People's Station. Now, it's our turn.
We've cracked it with that one. That is my favourite jingle. We've had some classic jingles on this station, but that one does it for me. I'm getting a shiver every time I listen to that. That was Depeche Mode, the greatest band for me of all time. That was live from the Pasadena Bowl. Apparently, Depeche Mode, one of the only bands, one of three, I think, bands, including the Rolling Stones, to ever sell out the Pasadena Bowl. May be wrong, but I know my Depeche Mode stuff. So just want to say thank you. I know you will appreciate Anne. She's a lovely lady. Her heart's in the right place. You hear the frustration in her, but she's got the energy. So well done to you, Anne. Thank you for coming on again. And always got something reasonable, straight to say. Tells you how it is, and that's what we do best at this station, as the jingle suggests. I'm so excited about that jingle. Oh, pathetic, really. But right, okay. So just to sort of back up something that Anne was talking about conditioning. I mean, I woke up this morning in a fantastic mood, and just really in a top mood for a Monday. But in the back of my head, I've got this tune in the back of my head, and it's coming back to me all day. And I thought, right, a few hours before the show, I thought I'm going to put this into YouTube, and I'll play it for you now. So forgive me to everybody outside of the UK. You're not going to know this. You'll know the brand, but you may not know this advert.
Have you made the boat fast? You ought to paint the mast. You can say without any reply. But what about the bran flakes? Real Kellogg's bran flakes is what they all reply. They're tasty, tasty, very, very tasty. They're very tasty. Have you scrubbed the forward deck? Did you get a weather check? A barracuda's biting you down. But what about the bran flakes? Real Kellogg's bran flakes is what they all reply. They're tasty, tasty, very, very tasty. They're very tasty. Kellogg's bran flakes. They're very tasty.
That was from the early 80s. Now, the point I'm trying to make there, because I'm not trying to promote Kellogg's, far from it. The point I'm trying to make there is that was just in my head for some reason, right, in my subconscious, and it's come to the fore for some reason. I have no idea. And I was talking to George, I asked George about this from the Prisoner show, and that is conditioning. That somehow manifested itself in me today to come out all that time ago. I mean, I didn't know what the brand was, so but I just remembered that tune. So that is some clever advertising that stayed in my head for 20 odd years. Am I making a right point here? I'm trying to make a clever point, because this is what I'm saying about the conditioning, and that's worried me a bit now, because Bev, what triggered my memory? I have no idea, but something's gone off of me today to start that off. I was sort of humming it, and then I thought, why am I humming that? Actually, what is it that what is that I'm humming? And then I left it alone, other things on my mind, and then that came back to me. So you know what, guys, this happens to us all, doesn't it? But what I thought was how much more crap have we got in our head that manifests itself in some other way. It's a mind control. Worrying, to say the least, I think, But hey, listen, if the only thing that's sort of will manifest itself at a top level is a cereal, then I'm quite relieved about that, guys, aren't you? Right, I did promise this song for my mate Phil, who's been Phil makes movies, and he doesn't like being mentioned so much, but he's been Phil. Just to sort of point this out to you, mate, you know this already, but this time last year I started off at Manchester Radio Online, and you were there, mate. So good knowing you. Play this for you, bud. I didn't mean to say, guys, by the way, going back to the story about the sort of trigger from the advert. It was weird because about 2 hours later, I found myself I just sort of woke up in Tesco, and I was actually licking boxes of cereal before one of the security guards threw me out. So yeah, maybe there is something more sinister in that. I didn't mean to mention that earlier. Right, so on with the show. This is the Critical Mass Show on Critical Mass Radio, the station for the people, from the people. I do feel like I'm with friends again this evening. To everybody listening on a podcast, thank you for listening to all the podcasts. I know you're spreading them out far and wide, as is Pippa and Phil with the new YouTube channel and the Twitter account. Just great work. Everybody's involved. It's not a one-person host. Listeners, one big, happy family. Love you all. I've got my arms outstretched here. Love you all. Right. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to link this, actually. Right. Since I've become a vegetarian, I've gone off food. Like, I'm not interested in food anymore. And food, I don't drink, I don't smoke, as you know. What do you do? So food was my vice, and I, did eat like a pig. But I've gone off food to the point I'm just not interested now. So I'm just eating to live, as it were. But what's happened is, we all know pot noodles. I don't know what you guys out there outside the UK have, but basically it's dried noodles in a plastic pot, add hot water to it, and you have yourself a tasty snack. I'm going to read something out here because Lisa went bananas with me and said, "What are you doing to yourself, Paul?" And I said, "Well, it's quick and easy. Look, we're all busy. I've got enough on. I can't be, cooking things up, chopping up vegetables. I'm just not interested." So within about 10 minutes, she sent me this, and I'm going to read it out because there's more to this pot noodle lot than you think. Okay, so marketed as the ultimate quick food fix, 240 pot noodles are eaten every minute. Right, that's not by me because I can only get through 186. I have tried, but what exactly is? If you think about this line, because they advertised it as the slag of all snacks, which means the whore of all snacks. So they're selling it to us as rough-ass food. Right, the best defence, as any sportsman would tell you, is offence. So it's what pot noodle do. The instant snack so beloved of poverty-stricken students came to famously describe itself as the slag of all snacks. According to parent company Unilever, there's that name again, and that will be mentioned with Pippa and on George's show on Thursday with a different brand with regards to chocolate bar, but there's more onto that. I'll start again. According to the parent company Unilever, the pot noodle brand, which was launched in Britain in 1977, I didn't realise it was that early actually, is the UK's #1 pot snack with a huge 77% market share. The primary target market for the brand is 16 to 24-year-olds, so that fits me. Okay, keep telling yourself, Paul, keep telling yourself. Listen to this. Sales of pot noodle account for 95% of the £105 million a year snack market. Oh my God. And the snack's popularity shows little signs of waning in spite of increasingly bad press over its lack of nutritional value. Paul Rippon said on the Unpen Show, which is on tomorrow night, from 9 to 11 with himself and Andy, that people are, do you know what, he put it so much better than I did, but basically there's people who are classed as obese now, that are classed as obese and they're eating things that have no nutritional value at all. Paul, can you explain that to everyone in the chat box, mate? So getting back to what I was saying, it's made in the town of Crumlin in South Wales. The factory there turns out 155 million pots every year, and it's estimated that 240 pot noodles are eaten every minute, as I stated earlier. In 2008, there was a limited edition that was sold in Harrods for £30. All pot noodle flavours are 100% vegetarian because basically there's nothing in it. In 2007, Unilever relaunched the brand in the UK, spending $10 million on cutting the amount of salt in the product to 50%. Okay, Unilever are keen to point out that pot noodle contains no artificial colours or preservatives. Okay, so let's have a look. Moving down, there was another point. Pot noodle is also high in fat. Yeah, we all know that. Right, there was another excellent point. This is it. Additives. There are flavour enhancers. The flavour enhancers monosodium glutamate and disodium 5-ribonylide, beg your pardon. They or E621 is a central nervous system poison in the same family as aspartame. We know about aspartame, don't we, guys? Paul, lift your head up when you're speaking. Speak to the mic, don't speak down. Oh, God, I should be more professional on this. Reported advertised reactions include migraine, headache, asthma, nausea and vomiting, fatigue, tightness in the chest, and burning sensation in the forearms. Heart attack, baby. And the back of the neck. Yep. And okay, so it goes on to say, well, basically this is a poison. Now, the last part of this, you've got to know, it could be argued that if a person hates themselves enough to make pot noodles a regular part of their diet, then that's their sorry fault. That line alone is correct in everything that is wrong with the world at the moment, because that's what they sell on. If what they sit there around the big tables in the comfy chairs is saying, listen, all we're doing, guys, is giving the people what they want. If they want to kill themselves eating crap, they know it's crap, then that's their problem. Which is an awful way of thinking, because people eat this because of laziness like myself, or because they haven't got any money. Yeah, and the major reason is poverty. So, just on this, there's an environmental dimension here too. Pot noodle is packaged in a rigid polyethylene PP5 pot. When the snacking is done, the pot gets thrown away. So being recycled, councils recycling. So basically, again, the actual recycling alone and the damage that these pots cause. So all in all, this pot noodle that's loved by, it just shows you what this country has come to. And I'm holding my hand up there because, like I say, again, conditioning, if that was from 1977, 4 years after I was born, it's been a part of my culture and your culture.
Mama, what's the white line?
That was our Reverend from the Prisoner Show on every Thursday from 9 to 11, right after the Cry Freedom Show with Lisa Phillips. Tomorrow night, as mentioned, we have the Unpenned Show from 9 to 11. That is after the Panro Show with Ben Emlyn Jones from 7 till 9. So, well done to you guys. Well done to you, Rev, because it's a fantastic song. And, no, I'm not going to say I'm going to learn the guitar. I keep saying it every week, and I'm never going to get around to it. I can hardly get around to anything that I'm doing on this station right now. On Friday, we have the Earth Needs Rebel Show from 7 to 9 with the Changing Consciousness Show with Brian, the boxing picker, straight after from 9 to 11. What I'm going to be doing this Wednesday, we've got Andy Peachy again and Kevin Bull from 7 till 9, and I'm going to be playing straight after that shows from the station lightwavesradio.com, because they are playing shows of ours, and I want to return the favour very much because they're doing great work, and I'll be playing those shows on Wednesday, this Wednesday, because what's happening is the Prisoner Show and Rob's show also out in the Matrix. Rob's doing a talk in Ashton, and Alex is going down to film that because nobody's filmed it for him, so Alex is going down to support Rob and film that for him so we can put it out on the site. So this Wednesday, Andrew Peacher, and straight after then what we're going to do, then straight after what we're going to do then is a couple of shows from basically Wendy and Max. And yeah, I'm sure, like I say, if you need to get yourself on there, you can see their advertisement on the lightwavesradio.com on the right hand side of the station, of the site just above the globe, guys. Thank you very much. Yes, so on with the show. I'm going to play this because I really like it and I like the message that it puts out. 1 second, he searches frantically. Right. Just listen to this, guys.
We've all got a special photo that makes us smile. With Barclays, you can now put it on your debit card for free, so it's a bit less banky and a bit more, well, you. To get your card, all you have to do is upload your favourite picture online. Personalised debit cards, free from Barclays. Shape your banking to be more like you.
Shape your banking to be more like you. Barclays Bank. Not an advertisement. Right, I saw that the other day and I thought, right, okay, people are now putting, because we do like to personalise things, don't we? You know, our cars, the place, our homes, our pets. We do like to personalise things. So now, cleverly, people will be saying, oh, great, I can have a picture of myself on my debit card where all my finances go through. And, you know, clever idea. And then I thought, hang on a minute, you just put a face to your finances there. You've got us. I was talking to the Oracle, George, and I was talking to Paul again, and Oracle putting out all these they assess things better than I do. And George went, hang on, mate, that's your national insurance, that's your national card, that's your national ID card. That's it, they've done it. That's all your finances, everything there, your RFID chip, and now your face is on it. That's it, they've done it. And I said, God, you know, I never thought of it like that. And he said, make the point, and he's right. And I've never thought of it. I just thought of it as, well, they put your face to your finances. But that there, baby, is the national ID card in your hand. Now, it's done. You've done it. Agenda 21. It's so underhand that even I class myself as fairly aware that I missed it. I missed that one. I didn't get the full picture. And I think I've got my eyes open and they can pull a trick like that. Fantastic. So I'm putting that information out. So I'm hoping, because I mean it's in plain sight to the point that it's just so obvious now that even awake people are, you know, we're missing it, and we're stuttering there a bit because I'm finding it hard to put into words how I feel about that, because I feel so duped. I think we all do. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have actually seen the advert. There's just a few adverts, and there's another one that I'm going to go on to shortly as well. But I want to play this because I'm in the 70s kind of mood today. Growing up, I was born in the, like I say, early 70s, and growing up, I do remember all the talent and everything else. that went. I mean, apparently those guys are big in America, and I didn't know that was an older song. That was a remake of an old song, Fit. So again, we learn something every day on the station. I'm going to try and correct that because I don't know if everybody went for that. Rolling Stones, I'm getting more and more into. It's just one of those bands that for some reason passed me by. And but wow, hey, fantastic. But I'm actually going to lose you all again with this song that I'm going to play shortly. Hello to you all guys. Hello to everybody in the chat box, everyone listening. I want to say hello to TNS Radio and to a chap called Vin, who's been helping me and the station. TNS working well with also Orion Radio, who we will be working very closely with, through Andrew Peacher. We're spreading out, guys. People, we put our sort of radio arms out to other stations in the hope that we can link up and become a stronger force. And unfortunately, as Anne was saying, not everybody wants to do that. But like Lightwaves and Orion and TNS, they seem to be the guys that want to do that very much so. I want to make the announcement that Critical Mass Radio will be holding a conference on the 24th of November in Manchester. We have 7 speakers, and not all confirmed, so we've not put out the flyers and the notices yet, but we'll have 7 speakers doing an hour talk on a 9-hour day. Paul Rippon is one who will be doing a talk, so we're looking forward to that. And also Mark from the Methods of Mayhem show on Monday is basically talking to last night, and it's something that he feels strongly about and would seriously like to do a talk. That coincided with one guy who's not going to be able to make it, and I said, yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, go for it. You know, I'd be happy to do that. So, you know, well done to everybody getting involved. We're doing a lot of work on that. It's not finalised yet, and I don't want to mention the people, everybody that's in the people that are, there's still a few 50-50s is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense, guys? So I know it's starting to get in everybody's hopes up, but we have got 50 that are there, and the other 50 that are sort of 75%. Am I making sense? So well done to you guys. Right, Rob Freeman, of course, is one of the other hosts that we have at the station. So that's 3 that we've got from the station who will be doing a talk. I told you to make you famous, guys. Not that you want that anyway. Right, okay. Back to the show. Does anybody know, this is a new one of me, what telematics are? Telematics are. Has anybody heard of that, telematics? I'm not getting any answers, so that's a no. Right, okay. So I'll read this out to you. Now, this I saw on a car insurance advert, and it will explain. Technology is changing, and so is the law. The European Court of Justice has ruled that from the 21st of December, something's happening. I think something's happening on that date. 2012, car insurance premiums must be gender neutral. Have you ever heard anything? And such car insurers are finding new ways of assessing risk, such as through telematics devices. Telematics enables personalised insurance based on the policyholder's driving. This is measured by a black box, otherwise known as a telematics device, which gathers data from the telematics device fitted in the car. All right? Telematics is a method of monitoring a vehicle, gathering data such as mileage driven and harsh acceleration and braking. This is unreal. Okay, for me, I mean, the insurance provider fits the device free of charge, I bet they do, to its customer car. The better the driving, the greater the chance of premium reductions and renewal. Now, listening to Rob's show on a Wednesday night, we all know that car insurance is legalised robbery in this country and every country in the world. Customers that will use the device could also see their driving manner online through a secure personalised portal. They can even try and improve their driving skills by using the data to see if they are driving too fast or braking too harshly, making the road safer for everyone. As an additional safety benefit, you see they're selling us the benefit now. They're selling the benefit now. The telematic device will inform the insurance company in the event of an accident. That's interesting. And emergency services may be contacted where appropriate. On top of this, the device acts as a tracker. Oh, a tracker. That's something we've not got. Meaning the car can be located in the event of being stolen. there's a video that accompanies that. Further benefits, when it comes to car insurance, if the driver is unlucky enough to fall into one of the high-risk groups, such as young drivers or inexperienced drivers, telematics can help 17 to 20-year-olds pay an average, blah, blah, blah. Okay, telematics is great for young drivers, confused.com. Right, okay, so we've talked about our face being stuck on our financial cards. Now our driving is being monitored to such a degree, where, you know, they've got us there as well, haven't they? So we are being completely watched left, right and centre. It really surprised me that when I saw it again, I just thought something just clicked in me that wouldn't have clicked in me, and it wouldn't have clicked in many other people. Can it turn the engine off remotely? Well said, Bev, and apparently that is happening in the USA and Canada, that cars can be turned off remotely. Now, can somebody confirm that for me? Because I don't like to put information out that's not correct, but I'm hearing that. Okay, I'm hearing that. Right, I want to play this very important clip. And again, thanks to Lisa for putting this together. And this is on behalf of Kevin Annett. And let me just find this. So many things that I've got to go through. Excuse me, guys. Please excuse me. My voice is going a bit here now. There we go. This is 5 minutes. Please listen to this one. This backs up everything that Brian Clare was saying last week. Thank you.
Message from Kevin Annett to be read out at the UK End Child Abuse March and Rally, London, Trafalgar Square, September the 29th, 2012. Greetings, everybody. This is Kevin Annett, Eagle Strong Voice. I am unable to speak to you in person today as we had planned and as I very much hoped to do. The British Home Office, for no stated reason, has chosen to bar me for now from England. Apparently, the fact that the Crown and the Church of England have helped to exterminate other nations and children for centuries is not considered a crime by Home Secretary Theresa May, but me speaking publicly about that extermination is. This is the second time that I have been prevented by the British Home Office from addressing a public rally in London on institutional child trafficking in your country. Now that's what I'd call an admission of guilt on their part. For now that the victims of crimes against children by church and state are uniting across borders and are naming those in power who are aiding and protecting child rapists, the authorities are obviously worried. Let me say today that all of us have great cause for hope. Now that the world and the British public are awakening to the regime of terror against children that hides behind the mask of government, law and religion. Just this month, on September the 15th, groups of survivors in 7 countries united and began proceedings in our International Common Law Court of Justice to bring charges against the Pope, the Queen of England and many church and government officers for crimes against humanity. These people have been issued public summonses to answer charges of harming children before the world. By taking this step, we are not only confronting child rapists in high places, we are stepping outside the judicial system that aids and abets these criminals and saying that when constituted authority refuses to protect our children and our liberties, then we must do so by asserting our inherent right to prosecute and sentence those who harm and threaten our future. We have taken this step after long and bitter experience has taught us that the courts actively collude with not only individual paedophiles, but with the oldest child torturing institution in the world, the Roman Catholic Church, by shielding it from prosecution. Despite having signed letters to bishops around the world ordering them to protect child-raping priests, including his own brother, the present Pope Joseph Ratzinger has been told by heads of state in England and America that he is somehow immune from prosecution. Our so-called governments have thereby condemned untold numbers of children to rape and torture. Well, 2 years ago, 20,000 of us told that criminal in Rome what we thought of him when we protested his presence in the streets of London, and that tide of revolt is growing. For today we have resolved to do more than simply protest, for we declare before the world that we will begin to perform citizen's arrest on known child-raping priests and on anyone who protects them, no matter how high their office. In doing so, we are saying that those who violate children have no place in our communities, in our churches, or in our governments. We have also resolved to seize the property and the wealth of any church that traffics in children through the kind of peaceful occupations and reclamations being done by Aboriginal people in Canada. And we have resolved to bring to trial and community sentencing anyone who uses their public office to rape or traffic in children or who protects those who do. We are, in other words, reviving a long and honourable tradition in England of just and lawful rebellion against tyranny. The kind of tyranny that in 1761 padlocked my ancestor Peter Annett into the public stocks at Charing Cross, not far from here, for publicly criticising the Church of England for its corruption. In the past 250 years since then, little has changed in England, it seems. For today, those of us who consistently engage in protest can be labelled as fixated threats to the powerful and locked away as mental cases under special laws reminiscent of feudal Star Chamber courts. This is how the guilty act when their crimes are being exposed, by stoking fear in us so that we will not expose their wrongs. But we are not intimidated, for the lives of our children are now at stake. We are not the criminals, and we know who the real criminals are. So let me end by saying that I will come again to England, the land of my ancestors, to help you in your righteous campaign to defend the life of every child in this country, and to bring to justice and stop forever those who harm or exploit them. I invite all of you to join our common law court proceedings against church and state by joining the dozens of citizen jurors in England who are already part of our court, and by organising common law actions and occupations throughout your land. Please follow our work at www.itccs.org. Let me finish with these words of hope from the poet Percy Shelley, written after the Peterloo massacre of poor people seeking the vote in Manchester in the year 1819. Rise like lions after slumber, in unvanquishable number. Shake your chains to earth like dew, which in sleep had fallen on you. You are many, they are few. Thank you, and may we find the strength to persevere and the wisdom to understand why.
Well done, Lisa. Yeah, it makes me laugh. Lisa, sometimes she's worried about her voice being on too many jingles, this, that, the other, but I appreciate everything that you do, Lisa, and so does everybody else. Don't worry, hon. It's great because, you know, it's well put, and with the right voice, a message like that gets heard, and that's a strong message. Brian Clare got to me last week, and I'm not going to talk about it because I'm going to get emotional. I can feel it already. I spoke to him after. Right, no, I can't do it. We've got to help these people. We've got to help these people. That's all I'm going to say on that. And Kerry Annett is doing it. And we need to be there. This is what we're about, guys. This is what we do, and this is what we do best, don't we? This is what we do best because it's coming to the end of the show. Thank you for your patience with me this evening. I've tried to make it as entertaining and informative as ever. I was told this morning, I've still got it, guys. I've still got it. I'm almost 40, but I can still pull them, right? So I'm really made up. I was told that I was very beautiful, and also I was invited to a birthday, which I was really pleased about. And, you know, even though I managed to get the lady across the road and help her with the walking stick, she still said I can come to her 85th birthday at the home just opposite. But it doesn't matter. It's the sentiment. I don't care how old I do. Forgive me. Let's move on. But I've still got it. That's all that matters. Vanity inside me never die. Okay. Here, Scouse is cracking me up tonight. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm sorry, but, you know, it's pop music, and pop music, it's short for popular music, and so that says it all. I want to say thank you to George from the Prison Show for doing a bit of editing for me today and helping me, and again to everybody. You know, it's just I don't want to finish the show. I'm we're all friends, aren't we? Now we've gone past this, so we're doing the right thing. We're all in it together. We're all linking arms. And it's just great, and I look forward more and more to doing the shows, especially now I'm getting a bit of time now, things are sort of settling down a bit. We hope to have a new site by the end of this week, hope. And thank you to everybody involved. And let's have a look now. Okay, there's a couple more songs, but just quickly, because there's one last bit, and then I can say that I've done my show properly and I'm happy, then I've ticked everything off. National parks, this is just something that, excuse me, I need some water. Excuse me, guys, very unprofessional. National parks are designated to conserve the natural beauty and cultural heritage of all areas of outstanding landscape value, and also to promote opportunities for public understanding and enjoyment of their special qualities. Although they are subject to the usual structure of local government, each one has its own National Park Authority, the NPA, with responsibility for conservation, planning, recreation, management and fostering the social and economic well-being of local communities. 10 were designated in 1950 following the National Parks and Access to Countryside Act 1949, and the Broads was created in 1989. Scotland National Parks Act was passed in July. The Scottish National Park, Loch Lomond and Trossachs were established in 2000. And they attract around 100 million visitors a year. National parks, specific areas of beauty that take up 10% of the landmass of England and Wales. That's a huge amount that we can't really use, but visit and pay to visit in some respects as well. And it just sort of occurred to me again, they've just taken 10% of our landmass away there to keep for the royals and the rich and, famous. And that's 10% of landmass that we could be using, that they've taken away from us to stop growing things that we could put to good use, shall we say. Have I got that completely wrong? Have I got that arse up? Because to me, that's clever. That's clever marketing. Let's designate 10% of the UK, of England and Wales landmass for ourselves, and these guys have to go and pay to see it and to enjoy it, and they can't use it for themselves either and keep them in cities. Do you know what? I'm just thinking as I'm saying that, I reckon that a lot of you guys have already thought about that, and it's only just occurred to me. But more and more is coming to me day to day. Right, guys, that's it. Basically, we've got 6 minutes left. I just want to say thanks to the City of London, who actually have visited us every single night since we started. So great to have you again with us. Thanks to everybody listening throughout the world, and I know a lot of you guys podcasting. Thanks to all the hosts. We're all in it together. Thanks to all the listeners. Thank you to everybody that's involved. Pat yourself on the back. I say this always. We have a unique energy. We are here for a reason. And collective energy that we've got, even though we don't all agree, we all appreciate and respect each other. And that is a winning formula, guys. We are on a winning ticket. We are in the right direction, and we will come good in some way. Let's just keep on it. Be ready to come back tomorrow night with the Pamela Show from 7 to 9. And straight after, we've got Paul Rippon and the Young Penn Show. Paul Rippon and Andy telling it like it is from 9 to 11. Love you all. Have a great rest of the evening. Speak to you all tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for listening. This is Critical Mass Radio. My name is Paul Giovanni, and speak to you very soon.